Hi, and welcome to another edition of Masters and Founders, where we tell stories of masters that have had more than 10,000 hours at their craft and founders that have founded companies, and we learn from them. Today, I'm super excited to be talking to Mark Russell of Hypersciences. One, because it's just really cool technology, and also it's after 5 and we're having a beer. So super excited about that. Mark, thanks for being on the show.
Dan, thanks a lot for having me. This is awesome.
So before we get into your background, I want to talk about Hypersciences because it's a new technology. Will you just give us the 30-second rundown and then we will dive back into it later?
Yeah, it's a technology that we fire projectiles at 5 times the speed of sound. That's called hypersonic. And in doing so, we disrupt tunneling, energy drilling, and transportation. It is a novel technology that truly is disruptive for these new businesses.
Wow, I love that, especially with everything that's going on with what Elon Musk is doing with the boring and also space, but just everything, just trying to get better, cleaner energy. I just think that this is very applicable to all those things, so I'm super excited to talk about it. I want to talk about you. Let's talk about you as a founder. Where did this concept come from?
So my background, I'm an aero-astro engineer. Used to work actually as lead engineer for Blue Origin, the company Jeff Bezos started to take people into space.
Nice.
But I actually led first crew capsule development, and then before that, their first vertical takeoff and landing. So background is entrepreneurial aerospace, and then my whole family's in the mining business. So I grew up, I'm a kid from North Idaho silver mines. So this was an opportunity to really integrate aerospace technology and underground for a brand new way to fly.
Okay, I'm going to stop for a second and talk about working for a rocket company like Blue Origin.
Yeah.
What was that like?
You know, it was, I think I was probably employee 10, 12. Yeah, so it was really early. When I came over, I was actually building, before getting hired, I was building my own X Prize vehicle. So Rob Meyerson, the president then, I knew him quite well. He pulled me out of the desert after doing some testing and said, look, we want you to help us build a company. And it was fascinating working with Jeff Bezos almost on a daily to weekly basis. So brilliant team, very challenging work, super cool.
That's amazing. All right, back to your story. First concept of this, at what point did you know I've got to go build something?
You know, that's a really good one. I took the leap to leave Blue Origin looking for a new way to fly. It felt that chemical propulsion for rockets does have an endpoint that isn't as efficient as utilizing air-breathing propulsion. So I stepped away. I was actually working with my brother drilling the deepest hole in North America for Diamond Drill Corps. And we were down over 2 miles deep. It's 2 o'clock in the morning on a drill rig. And I said, I've seen this technology at the University of Washington. It's called RAM Accelerator. We can just make a tube and get rid of all that chemical propulsion that's stuck together. We can fly through this tube. And we started building systems and testing them actually in my grandfather's old silver mine. And we realized, oh my gosh, not only can you go up, you can tunnel bore fast with this. You can actually drill. And that's when we actually called Shell and said, I think we can drill anywhere on the planet for deep geothermal energy. 24 hours later, they called back and said, we'd like to fund you. So it was a pretty cool time to invent something and then get that kind of response.
Talk about quick.
Yeah.
What other companies or industries are you looking at?
So, first and foremost, the low-hanging fruit, the tunneling is actually ripe for innovation. They're just grinding away. Folks like Elon Musk, great to revolutionize kind of the efficiencies, but fundamentally, we have a technology that breaks the rock, unlike a rotating grinding bit. This actually uses meteor-like energy to deposit, break that rock, pop it off at 10 times the speed that any rotating drill bit or any type of tunnel boring machine could pull rock away. So that is a fundamental game changer. So that enables a brand new type of transportation. And then there's the air-breathing transportation. We won a NASA contract to actually build and design an automated test facility for hypersonics to air breathe, maybe from New York to Hong Kong in an hour. These are the kind of opportunities we're looking at.
Okay, I've got a question. I'm going to go back to the tunneling.
Yeah.
You said it's 10 times faster. So can you give us an idea of what current tunneling, how much they, I guess, bore
Yeah,
underground
that's right. The boring company or
per
tunneling
week or
company.
so, and then what this does to change and make it more efficient.
Yeah. Tunneling today, you're sort of looking at tens to hundreds of feet per week. The best you could probably hope for today is in the future, sort of 300 feet a week. We're looking at a technology that can do a mile a week. So the ability to now do 3D tunneling, to do Hyperloop type opportunities, we're actually talking to some fairly big players coming up. So there's some exciting things happening
Wow,
in
I'm
that
excited.
space.
I'm excited for you.
We agree with a future that allows transportation quickly underground. We think that's cool, but you're going to need to break a lot of rock.
Very cool. I love when things are just much, much more efficient, and going from tens to hundreds of feet to a mile a week.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Congratulations on that.
Well, thanks. We actually were tunnel boring before Elon Musk had started the boring company. So
That's awesome.
yeah.
All right. So I'm going to now take us back to the question you started to talk about, which is air breathing
Propulsion.
propulsion. Could you help the audience understand what that means?
Sure. So you get on a jet airplane. Every day there's 30,000 takeoffs and landings. Rockets, today there's maybe 300 rocket flights a year. So what air breathing propulsion allows you to do is you trust your jet engine. You get on an aircraft and you don't think about other than, is my flight going to be on time? So if you want to go from here to there, delivering packages or people around the globe, the opportunity is to bring that air in a hypersonic capacity where you're actually flying using today's air breathing rather than rockets to get you from A to B on the planet. This is an opportunity to basically impulsively fly from one location. Think of our flight runways as tubes underground. We're actually putting the Hyper in a Hyperloop type tube.
Very cool. And you were talking about how this technology is disrupting that or making that more efficient.
Yeah, I think so. To start with, it's still early days on the hypersonic flight pieces, but what NASA found intriguing is that we could fly things that would normally take weeks and months to prepare. We can fly every few minutes with our system. We're actually flying near White Sands Missile Range. There's a commercial spaceport down there. We're not actually going into space. We're actually flying in the atmosphere and testing these technologies to air breathe. So in NASA or Department of Defense, they have to go rent a B-52, put a rocket under the wing, fly their air breathing test apparatus up to hypersonic speeds with a rocket, and then open it up for air breathing. We just exit the tube at the speed you need to test at. So this will develop brand new technologies for aircraft that now can get us again from New York to Tokyo in an hour or so.
When did you know that you had a tiger by the tail?
So that's a great question. Previously, I actually did a startup, and I learned that when you see something, even if people aren't quite ready to believe it's possible, you really have to go look at the physics. Mm-hmm. And the physics of rock breaking with this technology actually are very sound fundamentals. So once you understand the physics behind it, I think that's when, as a technologist, you understand. From a business side, you've got to hit it at the right time in the market. We're actually really happy that Elon Musk has made tunneling look really cool because it is an important development. I think that was the time when you start seeing this convergence of the need for aerospace applications, air breathing, hypersonics. They're spending like 150% more every year now because the world thinks it's getting behind. The U.S. is getting behind Russia and China in hypersonics. So, over the last 2 years, I'd say we're actually seeing that our vision is moving into the future.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Other technologies or other industries that this technology disrupts?
So again, fundamentally we're focused on tunneling today. Deep energy, which allows us to early on work with conventional energy drillers to open up opportunities. But really our passion is clean, deep geothermal energy anywhere. We live on this planet that's, this big, and we can only today drill as thick as our thumbnail. So this enables maybe twice the thickness of your thumbnail for, a tenth the cost. So deep geothermal is where we're going. In the midterm, there's also a really cool material science technology when you can take materials that are low cost and consolidate them into a much so take a carbon-based substance and turn it into more like an abrasive diamond. Those are the kind of technologies that are possible for Hypersciences, and we're looking at.
Wow.
Yeah.
How do you go from, hey, we can do this, to actually doing it?
Yeah. Well, you have to have a great team.
Okay.
That understands how to bring it to market. So we're here in Austin and we're in Texas with people who understand what drilling's all about. They understand how this type of aerospace technology can be applied. So folks like Shell and others really have worked with us, and then we've a great Austin-based team here to do that energy development.
What have you learned from the startup, and your previous startup, and also in this? What things have you learned, are you taking with you?
Yeah, I would say the number one thing is when you understand that you have a technology, don't blink. Generally, the folks that that don't get you are the people with the money to start with. So don't let the money part get you, down. The point is, if you're clear with what you're trying to do, make it simple for people to understand and for people to begin to buy your product. So just simple example, I actually did a rideshare startup, launched in Seattle before Uber. So it was this cool app that two people could catch a ride together and pay each other. In fact, they did actually, mobile payment was actually a little tough at that time. Only thing he had was PayPal. And I went around to venture capitalists, and they said, are you kidding me? You're going to put two people in a car that don't know each other. The lawsuits, the legal we paid to all tell us we were wrong. They're like, no, never going to happen. You're violating federal law. Take them to the airport. And I actually, said, okay, we're going to take their advice, and I slowed it down. I should have just laser beam focused and just done it anyway. So that gives you the insight. All you have to do is miss one Uber, and the next time you won't blink, and we're not blinking. I have been told this will be difficult, but we're at the point where we're getting ready for commercialization.
Every startup that's worthwhile, in my experience, is tough to get there. If it was easy, everybody would do it.
So true. Yeah.
If it was easy,
somebody'd be doing it already. Right.
Right. So that's what I find fascinating is, at some point, and correct me if I'm wrong, there's something in your gut that says this will work. I mean, there's something that wakes you up every single day. So what gets you up every single day and to continue to push forward on this?
Well, right now, we're at the point where we've been successful with our fundraising. It has been, again, even this one, we have this platform opportunity. You can do tunneling. You can do energy drilling. We can change the paradigm for deep geothermal and, as I said, transportation. Folks like venture capitalists say, you can do only one thing with my money and that's it. So we didn't blink. We actually went out to a crowd financing Regulation A SEC filing, and we were able to do our fundraising. So it has been nonstop. And I think as entrepreneurs, if you're going to grow, you're always going to be raising capital and growing your company. So I think that's the piece. If you want to talk about the last few months, we've been working pretty hard on that. The technology is solid, so it's a matter of just engineering it.
Can you imagine someone telling Elon Musk you can only do one thing?
I know, and I feel like I should get to do that too. But, ultimately, some people are extremely well capitalized for multiple things. What we did is we went out and capitalized for the thing that we believe in. And ultimately, you have to go through a series of steps, tunnel, then drill for energy, and then you can actually produce it with our geothermal plant. But you have to go through a sequence that gets you there. And that's what we're doing, and it's step by step. So I think folks like Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos actually did the right things early that allowed them the ability to do multiple things. We just happen to have a platform technology instead of just one thing inside that platform.
Tell me what you see the future of Hypersciences in the next 5 years. Where will you be?
So I think we're going to be well on our way to being an energy provider, probably one of the larger geothermal providers, and then ultimately geothermal energy anywhere. And that would be an awesome view of the world where you can basically unwire energy, discretize power plants. You are a country that needs energy. Your standard of living depends on it. And if you were not blessed with natural resources under your ground, then what? You have to go depend on somebody else. Here, you can drill where you are, tap into that energy in your standard of living. So I think we're going to start enabling that in about 2 to 3 years. And I think that's where you're going to see us really sparking. But right now, we're going to tunnel fast. I mean, we have contracts with Shell coming up to deliver the drilling system. We have others we're in conversation with that demonstrate tunneling super fast. So I can't tell you who they are yet, but it's pretty exciting news.
Well, you can. I need you to tell us because listeners want to know.
I know they do, and that we will soon, right? We're this Reg A filing. We are very clear with what we can say when. We're pseudo public, so it's coming soon, though.
Got it. How will this change space?
So, we're not an orbital space company. Hypersciences is enabling the opportunity to fly with a reduced stage or eliminate a stage one, particularly in the atmosphere. So other vehicles in the future will be able to take a ride and get up and then fly into orbit with us and with our partner companies. So I think ultimately we're going to see that. Right now we're focused on the terrestrial side, and in the future we'll see about those partnerships for spaceflight. Clearly, deep passion for it, but first things first. Let's fly millions of these projectiles that enable deep energy and deep tunneling.
So I was curious about other industries that you think this will impact. I mean, we talked about
tunneling.
Talked about space.
Yes.
Anything else that you see?
Well, I think again, those are all multi-billion-dollar industries, and they are ripe for change. Mining. When I go back to my roots, right, my father ran some of the largest silver, gold, and copper mines in the world. And I was just a kid from North Idaho that was, plunking around underground as a kid, so it seemed natural to me. Here we are testing my grandfather's old silver mine. So we believe that, and are talking to mining companies today, very good-sized mining companies, about using this technology to be much, much safer than drilling and blasting. Today, the technology is go in there with a drill, either driven or hand run, and then some guy comes in, wires up explosives, literally. You walk out or run, you fire your thing, and then you wait for the dust to clear. It's all just super sequenced. It's not the way of the future. You need an autonomous robotic system that delivers extremely safe energy right where you need it, and you can digitally mine. We can actually digitally mine their resource that they're trying to extract, a gold or a platinum or a copper or a silver, and then you can take out the other rock and bring that and use that for construction, for instance, instead of mixing it all together and having to send it through there. So it's super efficient.
I love that. It reminds me of, when, and back to Elon Musk, he looks at our current railroad system and says, that's like 100 years ago.
I know.
We haven't changed it.
Well,
and you're saying the same thing for digging. It's
it is.
We're still doing dynamite.
Yeah,
or explosives,
or you're doing what Elon's doing, and I mean, great. They're doing it, beginning to do it autonomously, and they're shrinking their tunnel sizes for cars, and that's great. But ultimately, you're just grinding things together, and really, what we're doing is saying we want that energy here, and we're using artificial intelligence with sensors. When we were with Shell, we're running our tests with acoustic microphones distributed, and we're actually able to see the fractures in the rock and the troubles ahead. So we get forward-looking sonar, if you will, or radar underground. So we're using all the tools because this is like a little micro thumper. You get to hear it. At the surface, you're not going to hear anything, but with these sensitive microphones strung out, you're able to actually see what's going on. So that's pretty exciting tech for us.
So what does the family think about it? The family's been in mining.
Well, they're all in. Let me tell you, financially as well as emotionally, everybody's in. My wife's a fantastic proponent. She's been with me since starting what's called Zebigo, which is this 2 to the 70th Go rideshare program, and then seeing me get into the aerospace and the family mining side. My dad. My mom, I'm a third generation, and they love it. We're testing in our own mining properties, so everybody's well behind it.
Well, I love the fact that you took something that you were a master of, which is mining, and been doing that for a long, engineering, and the things that you were
better at aerospace, probably.
Aerospace, and you took all that time and energy, and you turned into something that's non-existent, that wasn't existing at that point in time, and now it's like great, something that's new, much more efficient, helping other companies get through their projects much faster. So I just think it's such a wonderful idea.
Well,
and
appreciate that.
I can see why it's getting so much lift from the crowdsourcing space, and why people are calling you back. And it's not one of those things where you're just picking up the phone and just calling.
Well, what's interesting here, there's two things. One, people can't get into Jeff Bezos' private deals or into Elon Musk. I mean, they have public deals that they can't get into, but some of these new things, they just can't. So it's an opportunity for entrepreneurs like us that are repeat success, but we're now giving them, the crowd an opportunity. But I also have to tell you that it's not all just me, right? It's a team. This technology was invented by some professors at the University of Washington. We just commercialized it and made it better, and used our aerospace background to make it awesome. So, Dr. Carl Nolan and partners like Shell, who believed in us early to take this forward. So, a big thanks to the team that actually is really behind Hypersciences, from the financing to the university to Shell and our other corporate partners that are making it real for us.
That's so awesome.
And validating it, right? I mean, that's everybody wants to see, is it real? So.
I know you recently moved to Austin, so congratulations.
Well, thanks. It's an awesome city. Yeah.
Yeah.
This is where energy is happening,
Mm-hmm.
and I mean, dynamic for all the kind of tech startups here.
Right.
There's an energy in Austin that's not present elsewhere, particularly for the kind of things we're trying to do.
A lot of resources.
Texas gets it. Texas gets it.
For sure.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for coming on. I really wanted to share the story. We met a few weeks ago, and I love the story. I've got to get it on, and people can hear what is happening and how you're revolutionizing things. And congratulations on the success so far. And I know you're going to go much further, and I'm going to be right there with you, keeping tabs.
Well, thanks so much. I mean, I think we have so many people to thank, but I asked you once, what was great about Austin? One word was community, and that's what we found here. So, thank you.
Yeah.
Appreciate it, Dan.
Thank you.
All right.
Looking forward to it.